everybody. Oh my gosh. Okay, so clearly I am super excited about all of this right now. I have had such a wonderful day. And in all honesty, I am just excited about everything that's coming forward. And I cannot wait to just talk to you guys and see what's going on. So, hopefully, you guys are able to see me, hear me just fine. You guys can go ahead and comment. Unfortunately, unless you have went into and clicked the StreamYard link inside of my post, I may be able to see your comments, but I won't be able to know who you are. So if you are on here live, go ahead and just say hey to me so I can make sure that everything's good and you guys are all good. Hi, Candace! Yay! I'm so excited about this. So there have been like a lot of things going on that I am super excited about. And clearly you can just like see all of the excitement that's happening right now. So first off, this is actually the first time that I'm using this program here, the software, to actually send out a broadcast to all of the places. So it's actually going to my Facebook business page, which is Desirable Phoenix. It is going into my Facebook group, which is Reconnect and Love Yourself After Trauma. And it is going to my YouTube channel right now. So I am freaking stoked. Okay. So excited. This is what happens when people like me, like non-techie people, get like new tech stuff and they're like, oh snap. So hey. So I guess first I should like introduce myself because that's a thing. So hi everybody, my name is Tay Youngblood. I am a trauma release guide. I help women who have been through sexual trauma reconnect and love themselves more deeply so that they can create healthy relationships, feel safe in their bodies, and set healthy boundaries. And today I want to talk about practicing what I preach. So one of the things that I started doing was I restarted my chakra healing journey. And if you know me in any type of capacity, you know that about 3 years ago at the end of is it 3? Well, yes, technically it's 3 years ago. About 3 years ago at the end of 2018, I started my initial chakra journey. And it was really interesting because I was going through a lot of stuff at that time, which I will be talking about a little bit going into this. But I had started it then because I was going through a lot of stuff. And I decided to go ahead and restart it as of this past Monday. So one of the reasons why I went ahead and restarted this journey is because I had personally started kind of doubt and fear started to creep into my life. And anybody who knows me over the past 3 years, there has just been a lot going on. Okay. And we'll go ahead and, like I said, we'll talk about that here in a minute. But one of the reasons I wanted to talk about practicing what I preach is because one of the things that I talk about in my book is that healing isn't a linear thing. All right. It is definitely something that when you start taking your steps into healing, you start to open up new doors and other realms of healing. So usually it is not just about what you are currently healing about. It actually opens up other doors and areas that you have to heal as well. Now, healing within itself is ever changing. And you are, as a person who is always growing and looking to heal yourself, you're going to find that there's always going to be layers to that onion that you're going to be peeling back and being able to see the different things that you really want to start looking at and changing, right? So when I first started my chakra journey, I was going through a lot. It was the end of 2018. And literally, I felt like my life was falling apart. Okay. And also, I realized that this is also going to be probably showing up on my personal page as well. And some of you guys don't know this. So, everybody's getting some new information today. So, um, So at the end of 2018, actually all of 2018, I was going through a lot of personal stuff. I was going through some issues within my marriage personally, and I just could not get a grasp on myself. All right, and I decided, let me go ahead and start something. Let me start somewhere and get my life together. Yes, Candace, we're spilling the tea today. Okay. Spilling all the tea. So literally I was looking for something that was going to help me in my marriage. I had talked to people before, friends, family, who had said, hey, read this book, look at this area, like, this will help you, gain more control of your marriage and, fix things within it. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. And little did I know that none of these things actually were like, they didn't help. Most of them were saying like things that I should do and like stuff like that. But it was more of a joint effort. A marriage is a joint effort. Both people have to be in it in general, right? So one day I just was like, you know what? I need to go to the bookstore. Went to the bookstore with my husband at the time, and we went ahead and I was searching for something. I went into like the relationship aisle. I was searching for a book that would help our marriage. Like there was so much stuff compiled into that I was just like, you know what? Let me go ahead and find a book that is going to help me help him. That's going to, show me where the flaws are. How can I help build him back up? All of these things. And not only that, but also how can I help build myself back up? How can I get my confidence back within my marriage and things of that nature? And truth be told, there is not a book out there that's written to encompass all of these things. And at the time, I didn't realize that. At the time, I was just like, well, no, like this book has to exist. So I'm walking around in the bookstore and I was just like, you know what? I really need a book that's going to help. And a little voice in my head said, you look in the spiritual section. And I was just like, all right. So I asked the guy who worked at the bookstore, I said, hey, where's the spiritual section? And he like literally points right above my head. I was standing right underneath the sign. So I was like, oh, okay. So I go into the spiritual section. I'm there for a few minutes, like looking. When I say a few minutes, I mean like probably like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. I'm looking for something. I don't know what I'm looking for, but I'm looking for it. Right. And I turn and I'm almost giving up. Like I'm literally almost giving up on this search because I'm at this point now. I'm like, okay, maybe there's not a book out there to help me. And then I spotted this book and I was like, oh, and it's called Journaling the Chakras. And I was like, oh, this looks interesting. And I read the first page and I'm like, I need all of this. Right. So I get the book, I read the first like inside flap, which I guess would be like 3 or 4 pages in. It was like the introduction, right? And I'm reading it and I'm like, oh, I need all of this. And as I was doing that, I realized that this book was more about me than it was about my marriage. So that was my first clue into my personal healing journey. Like, oh, this is really about me. So I was like, all right, fine. I'll go ahead and do this. The book, it takes you through an 8-week course of, realigning your chakras and getting to understand yourself and journaling and meditating and all of this stuff that has to do with basically self-care. So it says 8 weeks. It took me 10. And as I started to heal, I started to see different changes within myself and then also within my marriage, which in reality were not all good things, in honesty. One of the things that changed within that was I had realized that I am a pansexual polyamorous female. Hey, look, there's some tea for you. And the marriage for me was stifling. And I was like, wow, that is interesting. And that's something that and I was like, okay, well, let's go ahead and, let's go ahead and explore this. And My husband at the time was very much for it. But I didn't realize that because I was doing so much changing, that it actually changed how I personally came off to other people. It changed how I came off to my husband. And in reality, what happened was I became more of me. Became more of the Tay that I knew before I got married, before I was in a relationship, before, life happened. And I started to feel really excited about this girl. I was super excited about this chick. Well, a year after my chakra journey and figuring out who I was and living my truth, because let's be real, that's what happened. I started living my truth, regardless of what my husband at the time was saying to me. I was just like, I'm doing what I'm doing. It just is what it is, right? Um, After a year of me realizing who I was and everything, he decided to leave. And it was very shocking because I didn't know that was going to happen. Um, I left for a weekend and I came back and he was gone. All of his stuff was gone. He packed up and left. And I remember just being very shocked. I did come home and change all my locks. And I just didn't know what to do. And then I didn't hear from him for 6 months. Okay. Within that time, COVID hit. COVID hit March of 2020. I remember like it was yesterday. I had just started a new job. Like within all of the changes that I was doing, like I was getting a new job. I was looking to make more money. I was wanting to do my coaching business, but things just weren't going the way that they should. Like it was a whirlwind of ridiculousness, basically. This is a freaking whirlwind of ridiculousness. And I was just like, you know what? Let me go ahead and, do this. So January of 2020, I got a new job. I had to get a new car because I had gotten into a car accident in December. Like my financial situation was changing. I was left now with a mortgage to pay on my own. I had to figure out life like as it were before I got married. Like when I was just living by myself, it was all new territory to me after being with someone for 8 years. So got my new job, everything was settled. And then COVID hit. At this point, I had not heard from my husband in 6 months almost. And in April of that year, he came back and he wanted to talk. And there was no resolution at that time. And I was just like, well, you've been gone for 6 months. And in my brain, it was like, I still love you, but I love you over there. And I didn't love him the way that you would love somebody when you're in love with them. It was just like, oh, like I realized that we had this relationship. I realized that we both, didn't do things the way that we should have for our marriage. But it's okay. I know where I want to be. So within this, I had also went to therapy. I started going to therapy. My friends and family and support system all know that that was something that was very much out of my comfort zone. And I realized that I needed it because I was angry, and I was angry at him for all the things that I got left with the financial situation, with the house, with everything. I was upset. And of course, I worked through those emotions of why I was upset, which was great. So at the end of the day, it was great. But at the time, I was just like, this is ridiculous. Like, why do I have to do this? Right. So then I finally decided, because he had been gone for a year, that I was going to file for a divorce. And it was so important to me to do that at the beginning of January 2021, I filed for the divorce. Like January 4th, like as soon as the courts opened, I was on the doorstep with my check ready to go. All right. Because I just knew that there was a lot of weight that I needed to shed. And I knew that there was a lot of discomfort. And that was just one thing that was still looming over me. Like I was still married to someone who was not here. And that just didn't jive well with me. So went ahead, got the divorce, or set for the divorce, I should say. And then I started to get the rest of my life back on track. I got my mortgage back up on time and on a good payment basis. Like we're good with that. Now I'm still in the job that I'm in, and I got a promotion, and things are looking super great right now. They are super rosy, super awesome. I'm managing 3 relationships right now, like 3 romantic relationships. Anybody who knows me, like they're kind of just like, I don't know how you do it. And I'm like, you know what? We're still navigating. But that's how my life is going right now. And then a couple of months ago, look, now we're to present day. A couple of months ago, I started having these doubts and these fears start to creep in to my brain. And I'm gearing up for my coaching business. I'm gearing up to, start these new ventures. And I have these doubts and this fear. And I'm like, what is going on here? So I was sitting back and I was like, yo, what did you do the last time shit fell apart? And I was like, oh yeah, I did my little chakra realignment. And I was like, ding, let's go ahead and redo another one. It's been 3 years. Let's go ahead and reevaluate and recalibrate. So on Monday, I started my chakra journey. And basically, it starts with the root chakra, which is the beginning. It's your security, it is your foundation. And I was just like, yes, let's go ahead and start this because I need to figure out what is going on. Like, why are these fears and doubts coming up? And when they came up and I started meditating on them, I realized that one, my foundation is a lot stronger than it was when I first started my chakra realignment. My security is way stronger than what it was when I started my chakra alignment. And that actually was a very big surprise to me. And I would say it's only a surprise because most people, as I said in the beginning of this, most people probably think like once you take those steps to healing, whether it's a trauma, whether it's a divorce, whether it's a random situation that leaves you feeling depleted, most people think that once you have healed that little ball of energy, right, that you're done healing. And that is not the case. The truth of the matter is you are still going to be going forth and healing more areas of your life. And it just so happened that what I needed to heal at this moment were my fears, why I had these fears, what these fears were associated with. And it was basically in 2 big areas of my life right now. It was within my romantic relationships and it was also within my business. And I was like, So, of course, starting out with the root, I'm like, okay, my foundation is good. My security is good. Now, where's this fear coming from? And we found that. And this is what I talk to my clients about is I help them realize that one, healing is not just a one step and you're done. It's not a 1 through 10, I'm done healing. That's not how it works. All right. You're going to be constantly healing over time. And that's okay. That happens because your life changes. And because I am at this point where I now need to I don't know what that word was, reevaluate and recalibrate myself and my life, I knew that I needed to start over. I knew I needed to start over. And I realized that I had to give myself grace and say, that is okay. Let's go ahead and do this. Right? So right now, what I'm working through is why I want to recalibrate. And my reason is, what I realize is that I love my friends, my family, and my partners so, so much. And they have always been there to be behind me 100%. Like, they are always like, yo, I am rooting for you. I got you. If you need advice, come to me. Like, if I need to vent, I'm calling up a brother or a sister, like, hey. But at the end of the day, I realized that not everybody has the spoons to deal with my shit in that moment. Maybe they're dealing with shit. Did I even think about that? Right? So when these doubts and these fears came up, I like to actually analyze it first before I bring it to anybody else's attention. Like, they gonna look like, oh, Tay is great. And then I'm gonna come back next week and we're gonna talk. And I'm like, what you been up to? And I'm like, oh, I was just, reevaluating myself and checking on my fears and shit. And then they'll look at me like, I didn't even know you were going through that. And I'm like, it's because I had to reevaluate and, analyze on my own. And that's just how I do. So the reason why I continue to do my healing and continue to check in with myself is so that my family and my support system and my partners and my friends can get a break. So they can get a break. They are not my therapists. They are my friends. They are my family. They're people who I love and don't want to continue to burden. But at the same time, I also realize that this healing journey is about me. So I have to be able to heal my situations, whatever they are, heal my thoughts, change them around from negative to positive so that other people in my life can see that. And then when I come to them and talk to them about a situation, I can just tell them what I learned, and then we can go from there. It's not all this, I'm bringing all this sadness and doom and gloom. I mean, it happens, I do that all the time. There's some times where you just can't help but to talk about the doom and gloom. And it's very helpful, and that's okay. But I say all that to say, like, as a trauma release guide, and to have been doing my healing consistently over the last 3 or 4 years, I've realized that the healing never stops. And I think that for some people who have gone through a physical, sexual, emotional, traumatic event, they feel like they should be healed right then and there, and that it should be one and done. And that's just that is not the reality of it. The reality is, you are going to constantly be checking yourself and rechecking yourself. You're going to be constantly changing your boundaries and setting new ones. You're going to be constantly in this state of flux. The only difference is when you're consistently doing your healing, you're actually going to start seeing these little minute changes, like why things are affecting you a certain way. And you're going to be able to pick that out, talk about it, analyze it, report on it, and then be like, okay, how can we fix it? And then you're going to be able to fix it. And that's what I do as a trauma release guide. I actually help you find those little areas of healing that you need so that you can actually work through them and realize what it is that you need to do, right? And then actually put towards an action plan and actually do it, which is super cool. And then, of course, I, add in different things too, like Reiki and meditation and things like that. And also, look, soon to be yoga and dance. I'm super excited about all of this, guys. Like, literally, you have no freaking idea. Because seriously, the excitement has not stopped. Like, so freaking stoked, right? So within that, what I wanted to tell you guys is I have 2 things that are coming up that I am super excited to share with you. And I've been on this live for 25 minutes now almost. And so I'm definitely going to be leaving you guys soon because I'm pretty sure you're tired of seeing my face. But before I go, I want to tell you about these 2 exciting things that I am coming up with that you are going to be hearing about and seeing on my Facebook. So don't be surprised. Okay. So the first thing is coming up in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, like 2 short weeks. Like, it's gonna fly because literally today's Wednesday and it flew. So in 2 weeks, I will be starting a challenge in my Facebook group. And this challenge is going to be helping you build boundaries and maintaining them. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through a 4-day challenge where we're going to actually create boundaries for ourselves. And then we're going to learn how to maintain them and enforce them so that other people know your boundaries. Okay. Which I'm super excited about, because when I tell you that I got some really strong boundaries, I got some really strong boundaries. Now, every once in a while, we do get a little lax because we all do that, right? But for the most part, my boundaries are pretty freaking steady. Like, yeah, no. I just blocked somebody a couple days ago. Like, literally, like my boundaries are like firm. Okay. So I'm going to teach you guys how to create boundaries, like new, firm, healthy boundaries, and then how to maintain them. All right. So that's going to be coming up in 2 weeks. And then starting this Sunday, not next Sunday after the challenge, but this Sunday. So what is that? I don't even have a calendar. Why do I not have a calendar? I don't even know what day that is. The 30th. Yes, it is the 30th. I will be starting a Sunday morning meditation. Now, here's the thing. It is going to be free. And it is going to be in my Facebook group. So if you are in my Reconnect and Love Yourself After Trauma Facebook group, every Sunday morning, you'll be able to come in to the group on my live, and we're going to meditate together. And here's the reason why. What I realize is that I'm going through all of this healing, and I want to be able to share that with the people in my tribe. I want to be able to share that with my friends and family. And in order to do that, I have to invite them into my circle. Now, we can talk about if you want to, meditate with me on a daily basis and all the other stuff. We can talk about that later. But right now, what we're going to talk about is how even meditating once a week for 10 to 30 minutes is going to help you find so much more clarity with what you want to do, not only in life, but within your healing, within your career, within your relationships. Just 1 week, one time a week, 10 to 30 minutes. That's it. Can help you change so much. And I am super excited to be able to share it with you guys. So what I am going to do is after this live, I'm going to go in, I'm going to create a post, and I'm going to pin it wherever the hell I can pin it, right? And it is going to be so that you can, if you are interested in coming in on Sundays and joining me for meditation, you can go ahead and click on that, get into my group, and come in and meditate with me every Sunday morning. Not only that, but if you're in my group, Reconnect and Love Yourself After Trauma, you'll also be getting tips and podcasts and blogs about trauma healing and what I do as a trauma release guide. And all that is free, because at the end of the day, what I realize is that I am here to help you. I am here to help you heal. I am here to guide you through those steps. And I am so freaking excited that I get to do that now. Like, so excited. I have been thinking about getting you guys in on my meditations for maybe the last month. And it hit me this morning when I was meditating that is what I need to do. So I'm super excited to share that with you guys. I hope that this live was informative. I hope that you got something from it. And please leave me a comment, like, share, all of that jazz. Because in all honesty, like this day and age, we have been through so much. I mean, the last 2 years have been nothing but pandemic talk, which is traumatic to most. And at the end of the day, like, we all need a little bit of healing. We all need a little bit of positivity, right? So with that, I am going to leave you with all of the awesomeness that is these 2 wonderful events that I'm going to post all over the place, right? The challenge that's starting on February 7th, and the Sunday meditations that will start on Sunday. So I truly hope to see some of you there on Sunday, because again, super stoked. And I will talk to you guys soon. I love you guys. I hope that you guys have a wonderful evening because I sure the heck am. So, bye for now, and I will talk to you guys later. Look, if I can actually stop the live. See, look, technology. Bye, guys.